Aloha, welcome. I'm Nadia. I'm a personal chef, a wife, and a mama living on the beautiful island of Kauai. I'm so excited to share some of our favorite recipes. They're inspired by island living and everyday home cooking. Let's make something delicious. Today, we're going to walk you through how to make garlic edamame. As always, you can follow through with our cookbook for the measurements and more special tips. Let's get started. So we're going to start off with boiling our edamame pods. Typically these come frozen at your grocery store, so you're going to want to put a pot of boiling water and toss your edamame into that. I like to use a cast iron pot if you've got one. This always helps to regulate the heat, but any old pot that you have is perfectly fine. Once we have those at a boil, we're going to get started with doing an ice bath or blanching our edamame pods. You're going to do this by adding ice to your lukewarm water, again, as your edamame is boiling. You're going to let those boil about 4 or 5 minutes, so this gives you enough time to get this ready for their ice bath. This ice bath is going to help to stop the cooking process because you don't want soggy or overcooked or overboiled edamame pods. Okay, I'm also going to get things ready for the recipe. If you've seen our other videos, you know how much I love this Joseph & Joseph garlic press. It saves me. I'm not somebody that loves mincing garlic. If you are, love that for you, but for me, this works really well. So we're going to go ahead and start shelling our garlic. One of the ways I like to do this, as you saw, is to pound on this. If you aren't feeling really safe with your knife, please don't do this. Just go ahead and do it however you usually do. But for me, I like to take the tops or the roots off of this, and then I usually just press down and let these garlics sort of shell themselves in that way. One of the things I like to do when I'm mincing with this garlic press is just slice it right through the middle so that nothing kind of rolls on your cutting board. And then as you see, I'm just going to add a little bit of pressure and then roll back and forth. And that's it, easy peasy, garlic squeezy. So then you're going to set this off to the side as you've prepared and gotten things ready for yourself. One thing to keep in mind is if you know me, you know I love fresh garlic over store-bought garlic, especially in this recipe. You know, give it a try. It really makes a difference. In the meantime, before I turn off my pot, I'm going to just go ahead and do a little taste test. Make sure to do this after it's cooled. Little pod there, just to make sure that it's not still frozen or cold or raw. And then once you're happy with how that came out, you're going to go ahead and strain your little edamame pods. I usually do this over the sink for the sake of this video and not having to move the camera all the time. I'm doing this with a plate or something underneath. Don't forget to do that. It can be catastrophe if not. Okay, nice and ready for our ice bath. This is going to, again, stop them from overcooking and just let them hit exactly the temperature that they're supposed to. Next, we're going to go ahead and heat our sesame seed oil. Now, again, I have accessible to me cast iron skillets. This again helps with keeping the heat that way. Oh, almost forgot. Soy sauce. Don't forget to add your soy sauce along with your sesame oil. I always find that this, once it's come down to a little bit of a boil, is perfect time to strain and get your edamame ready to go in the pot. Mind you, you could strain your edamame pods all over again. I probably should have, but honestly, if you get a little bit of water in this, it's actually not the worst. It sort of helps with this recipe. Next, I'm going to be layering in my Hawaiian sea salt. I like to do this little by little instead of just at the end so that you can start to build the layers of flavor. I always feel like that's what adds really great flavor and taste to this. If you don't have Hawaiian sea salt accessible to you, go ahead and use a coarse sea salt. That'll always help with the texture of biting into these. Okay, now that I feel like that's been cooked and ready, I'm gonna do my garlic at the very end. Mind you, some people like to cook their garlic in the beginning, but you don't want to have this burn on you. And if you're working with this, you'll see how quickly this garlic cooks. And this is on a very low heat at this point. If anything, you can even turn off this and get your sesame seeds ready. Little tip about sesame seeds, go ahead and use the toasted sesame seeds. I promise you it does make a difference, especially in this recipe. Okay, I feel happy about that. Again, I'm going to go in with layering that Hawaiian sea salt, extra little bit of flavor as we go. And then you can go ahead and turn this off and set this off to the side and get it ready for plating. Again, if you're using a cast iron, please be careful with your hands. That is a very hot pot. So hot actually that we're just going to go ahead and layer this little by little, making sure to not scoop up all the garlic, because at the end you're going to sort of gracefully put that on top. Now once that's done on top, this is another good time to hit it with some toasted sesame seeds for plating and any Hawaiian sea salt that you might want to add at the very end. Because we're doing this little by little, this really adds to the effect of every bite that you have of this. Before you serve this to your friends and family, go ahead and just wipe off the edges for a clean look. I hope you enjoy, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Aloha!